First at 5. From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
Fall is here, but it feels like winter outside. I don't know about you, but I'm loving these colder temperatures.
Oh, I'm loving it.
Temperatures fell below the 40s this morning and broke Gainesville's daily record low. In a place like Florida, where temperatures are normally high, such a drop in temperatures can cause problems. Good evening and welcome to First at 5 from WUFT News. I'm Ashley Weinstein.
And I'm Jake Reyes. Thank you for joining us. Among the community members most affected by falling temperatures, farmers. I spoke to one farmer who told me he may lose thousands of dollars in selling crops if it continues to be this low.
Putting down sandbags, preparing crops to sell, washing cabbage, and his hands.
It's actually been a really nice growing season up to this point.
Siembra Farms farmer Cody Galligan endured a long day of work preparing his crops because of the drop in temperature. Galligan's harvested crops for more than 2 decades. This is the first time he's experienced anything like this.
We've never had a frost this early in Gainesville, and I've been farming for 14 years, so it's a little surprising to get a frost in the middle of October.
As temperatures continue to drop, people, myself included, are bundling up, but so are these crops. Farmers are using this frost cloth to make sure that they don't get too cold. If that happens, they may lose a lot of crops when it comes time to harvest.
Low temperatures can damage crops like kale, lettuce, and yucca. Frost cloths are designed to limit damage to crops by capturing frost on top of the sheets rather than a plant's leaves. Damaged crops can cause less harvest and longer working hours for farmers. And if this keeps up, sales may suffer.
We could lose up to $10,000 of crop in the field.
Temperatures Wednesday morning were as low as 44 degrees. Meteorologist Megan Borowski tells us temperatures may drop to the mid-30s overnight.
We'll likely have frost over rural portions of Alachua County. North of I-Town, we could actually get freeze.
But it could get better. Borowski says temperatures will start to rise, moving to the 50s on Sunday.
Galligan tells us farming is specifically hard in Florida because of the wide range of temperatures. He wants you to know that the reason fruits and vegetables may be costing a little bit more at farmers markets is because of all the hoops the farm jumps through.
Of course, the question is if this trend is going to continue. WUFT's Derrah Getter joins us to tell us what the temperatures are going to look like this evening. Derrah.
Well, in the past 24 hours, temperatures decreased almost 15 degrees in Gainesville. On average, over in the double digits, temperatures decreased across North Florida. Right now, outside of our studio, skies are mostly clear. It feels like 70 degrees out, and we're not seeing many clouds in the sky due to high pressure circulating around, which is why we've been seeing a lack of storms in the tropics. Back to you.
Thanks, Derrah. The calm in the tropics should bring a sigh of relief to South Florida, which is still grappling with the impact of Hurricane Ian.
That's right, Ashley. Today's update from the Florida Medical Examiners Commission brings news of 2 more deaths from Hurricane Ian. The total is now up to 112, with the majority in Lee County, where the storm hit the hardest.
Recovery is still underway as a result of Hurricane Ian. Local first responders just returned home to North Central Florida from assisting with relief efforts. WUFT's Mistie Webb spoke with them about how they helped on the ground. Mistie, what did they share about the experience?
Ashley and Jake, I went to Gainesville Fire Rescue Station 1 and spoke to members directly involved with the task force today. They told me they witnessed devastation they had never seen before.
Still miles apart, Gainesville Fire Department was eager to send a helping hand. After Hurricane Ian, Southwest Florida was in desperate need of aid. As a result, Task Force 8 went down to affected communities. It was Drew Williams' first time helping in the wake of an aftermath following a natural disaster.
There's a little bit of nervousness because you want to perform in these situations. You want to rely on your training and perform for the guys that are watching you. But it was so surreal, just the true devastation. It's just more than you can imagine.
The group consisted of 27 members from Marion, Ocala, and Gainesville fire departments.
So we started off doing some boat rescues there, some folks that were flooded in their houses that had no access by any road around their area.
Members of the Task Force 8 say that flooding was extreme, with up to 16 feet of water.
When we were down there, they shut the bridge down to Fort Myers. So we would come across some families that were staying in their homes still. They were running out of food and water and stuff, but we would help them. We'd bring them some food and water and stuff like that as much as we could.
And Williams says more work still needs to be done.
According to the task force members, the best way to help victims is to donate to charities like Red Cross and Convoy of Hope. That's all I have for now. Back to you, Jake and Ashley.
Thanks, Misty. A Gainesville Mutual Aid program finished its hurricane relief efforts for Southwest Florida. The Civic Media Center on Main Street hosts the Gainesville Free Grocery Store. It's a program dedicated to bringing food to people in need. After Hurricane Ian hit Southwest Florida, the Free Grocery Store focused its efforts to help families affected. The store donated about 2 tons worth of food, water, and supplies. One Civic Media Center founder, Joe Corder, says their efforts undoubtedly help short-term food-related needs.
They were using this as a place where people were dropping things off, like our stage area was covered with bottles of water and stuff to go down, and then they were making trips down on the weekend.
The Free Grocery Store donated to efforts based in Tampa, Orlando, and Arcadia. The program is returning to its original purpose now that relief is focused on cleanup and recovery.
Now let's turn away from the weather and into more local news. A state forest is getting an expansion, and a Tom Petty tribute is coming to town this weekend.
But first, the British Prime Minister resigned after just 6 weeks. We'll tell you all about it after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. British Prime Minister Liz Truss resigned today, bowing to the inevitable after a tough 6-week term in which her policies triggered turmoil in financial markets and a rebellion in her party obliterated her authority. NBC's Kelly Cabela reports from London.
The pressure on the Prime Minister had been building for days, if not weeks, and today the Prime Minister came out and said she is in fact resigning. Liz Truss out after just 6 weeks in office. The Prime Minister saying, "I recognize I cannot deliver on the mandate I was elected on." Liz Truss was elected by Conservative Party members, not by the general public. And at the beginning of her very short tenure, she announced massive unfunded tax cuts that spooked the markets and sent the currency tumbling. She reversed those tax cuts, fired her top finance minister, but it wasn't enough to keep her in power. The economic situation in this country, with energy prices rising, is going downhill quickly. Inflation is even higher here than it is in the United States at 10.1%, and her party has absolutely plummeted in the polls. Today, the opposition leader, Sir Keir Starmer, saying that the country needs a general election now. He said that the country cannot afford the chaos of a conservative government. Liz Truss, when she announced her resignation, said that she would remain in office for the next week until a new prime minister was chosen.
A U.S. Customs and Border Protection officer has died after he was shot at a gun range. Miami-Dade police confirmed that a man was shot in the chest accidentally around 10:30 a.m. yesterday at the Trail Glades gun range. The man was rushed to Jackson Memorial Hospital's Ryder Trauma Center in critical condition, but a CPP official later confirmed that the man died. His identity hasn't been released, but it's believed he was in his 30s. Miami-Dade police officials say their homicide bureau is investigating the shooting through preliminary findings, suggested it was an accident.
Big Shoal State Forest is getting a significant expansion. Alachua Conservation Trust worked with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection to acquire the addition. The state forest will expand by almost 150 acres to include land within the Florida Wildlife Corridor. The new land includes native pine hardwoods and wetlands that feed the upper Suwannee River. Conservation Group Florida Forever funded the acquisition.
That sounds really nice. I would love to go for a walk. Maybe not in this temperature, though.
I don't know. I kind of like the cold, but let's leave it to the experts. Derrah brings us. What is it going to look like tonight, Derrah?
Well, it's going to be another cold night tonight, not as cold as tomorrow, or last night, sorry, but we'll have more on how long it's going to be cold after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Earlier today, we saw temperatures in the 30s. It was 37 in Gainesville, which is a record breaker. The last time we saw temperatures that cold was in the 80s. 1989 was the last time we saw a 38-degree record low. And yesterday night, it was 37 degrees, which is now the new record low. Temperatures across of our area are in the 70s. Gainesville's in the 70s, 70 in Brooker and in Alachua. Right now, temperatures has seen a significant decrease. It's dropped about 14 degrees in Gainesville and 10 in Stark. Over the next couple of hours, temperatures are going to continue to decrease as we do have another really chilly night tonight in the 40s. Right now you can see no clouds in the sky and it feels like 70 degrees out. Right now we're sitting in the mid to low 70s across North Florida. We're going to decrease down into the mid 40s by 3 a.m. and you can see we have quite a ways to go. Right now, tonight's low 41 in Gainesville, 37 over in Newberry, and 43 in Hawthorne, warming up just a little bit the further south we head. 45 in Bellevue and almost 50 in the Villages as you're planning your Friday. Lots of sunshine in the morning with the light breeze in the afternoon. Later in the afternoon, we'll begin to cool down quite a bit. It's not going to be as chilly tomorrow night as it is going to be tonight. We're going to be warming up the rest of this week. Friday temperatures in the mid 70s, 75 in Gainesville, 73 in Bronson, and 75 in Palatka. Over the next couple days, we're going to be seeing a warming trend as temperatures return back to normal next week. We're not forecasting any more cold fronts or rain to come through and keep our temperatures cool, so we'll be warming up back into the mid 80s by Wednesday. Back to you.
Thanks, Derrah. That brings us to sports with our very own Karina Wilson.
Karina, did you say a Gator signed a big NIL deal?
That's right, Jake. Find out which Florida football player made history after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Karina Wilson. History has been made. Florida Gators quarterback Anthony Richardson has reportedly signed an NIL deal with Gatorade. Richardson is the first Florida athlete to ink a deal with the sports drink company that originated at UF. Attorney Darren Heitner, who represents Richardson in sponsorship, endorsement, and marketing agreements, told On3 he is overjoyed to have brought two of his clients together to promote the iconic Gatorade brand. Over at the Diz, the 2-11-1 Florida Gators soccer team takes on the Vanderbilt Commodores tonight. Florida is 0-6-1 in Southeastern Conference play, with its most recent game versus Kentucky ending in a tie. UF's last home game marked a loss to the then number 9 Arkansas Razorbacks. The Gators claim a 28-4-3 record over the Commodores, including a win in their last matchup during the 2021 SEC tournament. The game is set for 6 p.m. In a series of unfortunate events, number 11 Florida volleyball was swept by unranked conference foe Georgia in the last night in the O-Dome. The loss signaled the end of the Orange and Blues' 5-game win streak. The Gators fought tooth and nail, with their largest gap coming in the third set, losing 25-20. Senior Marina Markova captained Florida's offense with 14 kills, doubling both Merritt Beeson and Sophia Victoria, who claimed 7. On the other end of the court, though, red-hot Casey Evans claimed 16 kills to lead the Bulldogs to victory. UF heads to Auburn, Alabama Wednesday to battle the Tigers at 8 p.m. That's your look at sports. Back to Ashley and Jake.
Thanks, Karina. I want to wish a happy birthday to Tom Petty. And if you want to rock out to some of his music over the next couple of days, Heartwood Soundstage in downtown Gainesville is hosting a 3-day concert beginning at 7 p.m. tonight. 20 bands will perform Tom Petty's greatest hits and original music. Guests can register for free general admission tickets. VIP ticket holders will get parking passes and exclusive studio access. Venue owner Dave Maloche says the event is different from others Tom Petty tributes.
Well, I think what really separates this event from other Tom Petty tributes that happen all over the world is the fact that this is his hometown. And so many of the people that are showing up and are people that were in bands with Tom, people that grew up with him, people that knew him.
Some performances will be held indoors for VIPs. Guests can explore vendors and food trucks next to the outdoor stage.
Wow, what a great tribute. You know, I'm going to have to check that out.
I definitely want to go. Let's just hope the weather stays nice for it. Before we go, Derrah has one last look at the forecast.
The rest of this week, we are going to be seeing a little bit of a warm up. Temperatures are going to increase back to normal by next week, as we're not forecasting any more rain or cold fronts to keep our temperatures cool. Back to you.
Thanks, Derrah. I'll definitely be bundling up. BBC World News is next, and PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
But remember, your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. Have a great night.